In the vast and complex tapestry of human society, from the polished corridors of multinational corporations to the intimate confines of a family dinner, an unspoken and intricate architecture governs every interaction. This architecture is not built of brick and mortar, but of tacit agreements, inherited social scripts, and deeply ingrained expectations. It is a force field of permissible behavior, a map of social navigation that most individuals follow instinctively, often without any conscious awareness of its existence. This herd instinct, a primordial relic from our ancestral past, where belonging to the group was synonymous with survival, continues to dictate modern behavior. The fear of ostracization, the desire for validation, and the pursuit of status within a defined hierarchy are the invisible currents that shape the flow of conversation, the distribution of attention, and the performance of identity within any collective. Most people move through these preordained channels seamlessly. They laugh at the appointed times, defer to the recognized authorities, seek the approval of the alpha personalities, and conform their opinions to the emerging consensus. They are the players who have mastered the game, their identities and actions harmoniously, and sometimes anxiously, align with the group's vibrational frequency. Yet, in every era and in every gathering, there exists a different kind of individual, one who operates on a distinct wavelength. This is not the loud rebel who smashes a China convention, drawing attention through theatrical defiance, nor is he the sycophantic follower, deriving his worth from proximity to power. This individual is a Sigma male, a figure of quiet independence, profound self-possession, and enigmatic influence. He does not merely participate in the group's dance. His very presence changes the music to which everyone moves. He stands outside the invisible matrix, not as a protester with a placard, but as a natural citizen of a different realm. His existence within a social setting sends subtle, almost imperceptible ripples through the established patterns, causing shifts that are both disorienting and liberating for the other participants. If you have ever entered a room and felt the atmosphere shift from performative chatter to more substantive, authentic exchange because of one person's calm and centered demeanor, you have likely witnessed a profound and often misunderstood Sigma effect. This treatise is dedicated to a meticulous exploration of this phenomenon, dissecting the 8 specific, powerful ways in which the Sigma male naturally and often unintentionally challenges, disrupts, and ultimately transforms the dynamics of any group he enters. 1. The silent deconstruction of implied hierarchies, the inevitable social ladder and its unspoken rules. Human groups, much like primate troops, have an almost biological imperative to organize themselves into hierarchies. In the corporate world, this is explicit. Organizational charts delineate the chain of command from the C-suite to the intern. In social settings, it is more nuanced but equally potent. The charismatic ringleader, the popular socialite, the respected elder, the eager-to-please newcomer. These structures provide a sense of order, predictability, and efficiency. Individuals instinctively perform a complex internal calculus to determine their place within this pyramid. They know to whom they should defer, who they can command, and what behaviors are expected to maintain or improve their standing. This pecking order is reinforced through body language, conversational patterns, and the allocation of respect, which is almost always conditional upon one's position. The Sigma's egalitarian operating system. The Sigma male enters a structured environment with an entirely different internal operating system. He performs what could be described as a silent rejection of implied hierarchies. It is crucial to understand that this is not an act of overt rebellion. He does not storm the boardroom table, nor does he make declarations of independence. Such theatrics would merely be a reaction to the hierarchy, thus acknowledging its power. Instead, the Sigma operates as if the hierarchy is simply irrelevant to his personal code of conduct. His paradigm is fundamentally egalitarian, rooted in a core principle. Respect is earned through character, competence, and integrity, not bestowed by a title or a social standing. In practice, this manifests with remarkable consistency. He will address the chief executive officer with the same calm, direct, and respectful tone he employs when speaking to the junior intern fetching coffee. He does not pepper his speech with obsequious honorifics when talking up, nor does he adopt a condescending patrician tone when addressing those below him. He makes eye contact with similar frequency and intensity, regardless of his interlocutor's status. He does not seek permission from supposed authorities for his ideas, understanding that the validity of an idea is separate from the rank of its proposer. Conversely, he does not expect, or even particularly desire, deference from those of lower rank. This creates a fascinating social dissonance. The CEO, accustomed to a certain level of performative submission, may initially be taken aback by the Sigma's unflinching calm. The in turn, conditioned to invisibility, may feel a novel sense of being seen and heard as a legitimate human being. The ripple effect of quiet equality. The impact of this silent rejection is profound and multi-layered. Firstly, it subtly undermines the very foundations of the group's power structure. When others witness an individual interacting with the alpha without the customary displays of submission, the alpha's aura of inherent authority is subtly diminished. It becomes clear that the authority is a construct, dependent on the collective buy-in of the group. Secondly, and more importantly, the Sigma's behavior gives others silent permission to think beyond their assigned roles. The mid-level manager who sees the Sigma speaking candidly to the director may feel emboldened to voice a contrarian opinion in the next meeting. The shy individual at a party may find the courage to contribute to a conversation dominated by extroverts, having observed the Sigma's comfort in his own quiet reserve. The Sigma's presence becomes a living demonstration that one can engage with the world based on a personal moral and intellectual compass, rather than a social flowchart. He plants seeds of intellectual and social independence in minds that have been conditioned, often since childhood, to follow the established order. He does not preach this philosophy. He embodies it. And in this embodiment, he challenges everyone in the room to reconsider the very nature of respect and authority. 2. The power of non-reactive observation and the truth mirror effect. The social theater and the pressure to perform. Group settings are, in many ways, a stage. Most individuals feel an immense, often subconscious, pressure to perform their role within the collective. This performance includes a repertoire of expected reactions, nodding in vigorous agreement to convey understanding and alliance, laughing at the boss's jokes to signal camaraderie, expressing collective outrage or enthusiasm to demonstrate solidarity, and offering a continuous stream of verbal and nonverbal cues, really? Wow, I know, to prove engagement. This is the grease that keeps the social machinery running smoothly. It is a dance of reciprocal validation where each person's performance reinforces the others. The Sigma's detached sanctuary of awareness. Into this theater of social performance, the Sigma male enters as a non-reactive observer. While others are caught in the whirlwind of performative emotion, he remains remarkably centered in a state of calm detachment. This is not aloofness or disinterest, but rather a profound and active awareness that is not easily swayed by the emotional currents of the room. He observes the interactions, the power plays, the unspoken pleas for validation, and the subtle bids for dominance with the quiet focus of a naturalist studying a complex ecosystem. His facial expressions are authentic, not performative. He will laugh at a joke only if he genuinely finds amusing, not because the teller is influential. He will express concern or disagreement if he feels it, not because the group sentiment demands it. This authentic non-reactivity often creates an initial sense of discomfort in others. The charismatic storyteller, accustomed to rapt attention and predictable laughter, may find his rhythm disrupted by the Sigma's calm, attentive silence. The individual seeking sympathy for a minor grievance may be met with quiet acknowledgement rather than the expected chorus of commiseration. In these moments, the Sigma male functions as what could be termed a truth mirror. His genuine, calibrated responses reflect back the inauthenticity of the social performances around him. People become uncomfortably aware of their own contrived reactions. They may notice the artificiality of their own laughter, the forced nature of their agreement, or the emptiness of their expressed outrage. The cultivation of substantive interaction. The long-term effect of this truth mirror is a gradual but significant shift in the group's interactive style. In the Sigma's presence, the social temperature often cools from a fever pitch of performative emotion to a more moderate and authentic climate. People begin to self-moderate. The compulsive nodder may catch himself and stop, realizing the gesture is empty. The individual about to express fake outrage may reconsider, and instead voice a more nuanced opinion. The group, collectively, begins to shed its theatrical layers. This occurs not because the Sigma male criticizes or corrects anyone, he almost never does, but because his mere presence, his authentic being, makes a performance feel unnecessary, even slightly foolish. The energy previously expended on maintaining social facades is gradually redirected towards more substantive engagement. Conversations become less about scoring social points and more about genuine exchange of ideas. The group dynamic transforms from a theatrical production into a collaborative workshop, not through mandate, but through the silent, powerful influence of authentic presence. 3. The quiet redefinition of social value and worth. The conventional currency of social status. Every social group operates on a set of established, though often unstated, metrics for determining an individual's value. This is a social currency that is traded and accumulated. In many contexts, this currency consists of traits like gregarious extroversion and popularity, quick wit and the ability to entertain, physical appearance and sartorial elegance, visible status symbols, wealth, career, title, possessions, and verbal dominance in conversation. These are external, often performative, attributes. Individuals jostle for position within this economy, learning to amplify these value traits to gain influence, approval, and mating opportunities. The Sigma's intrinsic value proposition. The Sigma male introduces a seismic shock to this economic system simply by being who he is. He brings to the table an entirely different value system, one based on intrinsic rather than extrinsic worth. His value is derived from qualities that cannot be easily performed, but must be authentically possessed and cultivated from within. These include demonstrable competence and mastery in his chosen fields, unshakable integrity and consistency between his words and actions, a quiet confidence that needs no external validation, and a capacity for independent, critical thinking that is unswayed by popular opinion. In a social setting, this creates a powerful state of cognitive dissonance for those who are fully invested in conventional social metrics. They observe a man who does not play their games. He doesn't try to be the loudest, the funniest, or the most connected, and yet he commands a deep, resonant respect. He does not seek the group's validation, yet he radiates a confidence that many of the perpetual approval seekers lack. He is like a man standing in a marketplace where everyone is trading brightly colored beads, silently holding a bar of solid gold. His very existence poses a silent but deafening question: what is truly valuable? The forced reevaluation and intellectual elevation. This quiet challenge forces everyone in his proximity to subconsciously reevaluate their own metrics of worth. The socialite who derives her power from her extensive network may find herself wondering if those connections are as meaningful as the Sigma's ability to solve complex problems alone. The smooth-talking executive may question whether his glib rhetoric carries the same weight as the Sigma's sparse, but precise and insightful contributions. This internal reevaluation has a cleansing effect on the group's dynamics. The conversation is naturally elevated. It becomes less about social maneuvering. How can I impress this person? And more about substantive exchange. What can I learn from this person? The focus shifts from the superficial to the essential. The Sigma's presence acts as a filter, straining out the noise of social posturing and allowing the signal of genuine value to come through more clearly. He demonstrates that true influence is not about being the center of attention, but about being the center of gravity. For the embodiment of alternative social models and the granting of social permission, the tyranny of the one right way to socialize. Human beings are prone to a peculiar form of psychological myopia. We often assume that our own way of being, thinking, and socializing is not just our personal preference, but the default, correct mode of operation. Extroverts, who gain energy from social interaction, frequently believe that everyone should be outgoing and that solitude is a form of punishment or pathology. Highly ambitious, status-driven individuals often view a lack of overt careerism as a sign of laziness or lack of ambition. This tyranny of the norm creates immense pressure for those whose natural temperaments fall outside these dominant molds. The Sigma as a living testament to diversity. The Sigma male is a walking, breathing refutation of this monolithic view of social success. He embodies a completely different social model, and does so with such comfort and lack of apology that it normalizes alternative ways of existing. He demonstrates through his daily life that one can be profoundly happy and fulfilled without constant social stimulation and a packed calendar, achieve significant success and mastery without engaging in the ritualized dance of networking and self-promotion, possess deep, unshakable confidence that is generated internally without the need for a chorus of external validation, exercise considerable influence without ever seeking or holding a formal position of leadership in a group setting, his comfortable existence in his own skin provides what could be described as social permission for others who have felt like square pegs in the round holes of the dominant social paradigm. The liberation of the introvert and the independent thinker. The effects of this are liberating and transformative. The introverted individual in the room, who has been forcing a smile and trying to mimic extroverted energy, sees the Sigma male sitting quietly in the corner, perfectly at ease, observing the room without anxiety. A wave of relief washes over them. They realize, perhaps for the first time, that it is acceptable to be quiet, that their nature is not a flaw to be corrected. They feel empowered to dial down their performative energy and simply be themselves. Similarly, the independent thinker who's been biting her tongue to avoid contradicting the group consensus sees the Sigma calmly, offering a dissenting viewpoint without any apparent fear of social consequence. This gives her the courage to voice her own unique perspective. The Sigma does not need to form a support group for nonconformists. His mere presence creates an invisible network of solidarity. He makes the group psychologically safer for diversity simply by exemplifying it. The group's culture becomes more inclusive of different social styles, not because of a dictated policy of inclusion, but because one man's authentic being has broadened the collective understanding of what is normal and acceptable. 5. The introduction of unconventional problem solving and the shattering of groupthink. The constraining nature of collective conformity. When groups face challenges or complex problems, they often fall prey to a well-documented psychological phenomenon, groupthink. In the desire for harmony and consensus, dissenting views are suppressed, alternative options are left unexamined, and the group converges on a solution that is often the most conventional, risk-averse, or politically acceptable rather than the most effective. The group's thinking becomes insular, shaped by a shared set of assumptions and a common bubble of experience. They ask the questions they are accustomed to asking and find answers within the narrow confines of their established paradigms. The Sigma's unconditioned intellect. The Sigma male, by virtue of his peripheral relationship to the group's social structure, is also peripheral to its intellectual conditioning. His thinking is not shaped by the same social pressures and unspoken rules. He has not been indoctrinated into the group's sacred cows or its way we do things here. Consequently, when a problem is presented, his mind operates on a different track. He will ask fundamental, almost naive questions that others haven't considered because they were too close to the issue. He will suggest approaches and analogies borrowed from seemingly unrelated fields of his own diverse interests and competencies. Most strikingly, he will often identify simple, elegant solutions that the group's collective overthinking has blindingly overlooked. What makes his contribution so uniquely challenging and valuable is his delivery. He does not present these unconventional ideas as a revolutionary manifesto or as a criticism of the group's stupidity. To him, these insights are simply common sense, the obvious conclusions of a logical and unencumbered mind. He says, "Why don't we just, or what if we looked at it like this?" with a genuine curiosity that is devoid of any rebellious posturing. He isn't trying to be different. He genuinely sees things differently. The elevation of collective intelligence. This forces a group to confront its own unexamined assumptions. The Sigma is simple. Probing questions act like a pry bar, forcing open cracks in a wall of groupthink. The meeting, which was heading toward a predictable and mediocre conclusion, is suddenly revitalized. New pathways are opened. Creativity is sparked. The group is compelled to consider perspectives from outside its collective bubble. In this way, the Sigma male, often the quietest person in the room, becomes a catalyst for a significant increase in the group's overall intelligence and problem-solving capacity. The solutions reached are more innovative, the strategies more robust. This enhancement occurs not in spite of his quiet detachment, but precisely because of it. His value lies in his intellectual independence, which serves as an antidote to the collective's intellectual conformity. 6. The the modeling of impeccable boundary integrity. The group's gravitational pull toward conformity. Groups exert a powerful gravitational force that pulls individuals toward the center, demanding conformity and often encroaching upon personal boundaries in subtle, normalized ways. This can include implicit expectations to work late without additional compensation, the social obligation to participate in activities one finds unpleasant or unethical, the demand for constant emotional availability and personal disclosure, and the assumption that one's time and energy are communal property. Many individuals succumb to this pressure, sacrificing their well-being on the altar of group belonging, leading to resentment, burnout, and inauthentic relationships. The Sigma's impregnable personal fortress. The Sigma male stands as a master of personal boundary integrity. He maintains impeccable limits around his time, energy, and emotional resources without fanfare, apology, or lengthy explanation. His philosophy is simple. His sovereignty is non-negotiable. He leaves a social gathering or a meeting exactly when he said he would, regardless of whether the conversation is at its peak. He declines requests, whether from a CEO or a colleague, that do not align with his priorities or values, offering a simple no, "I can't commit to that," without feeling the need to fabricate an elaborate excuse. He protects his focus ruthlessly, not allowing the interruptions to derail his deep work. This is not done with aggression or self-righteousness. It is executed with a calm, matter-of-fact finality, a natural law, the normalization of healthy limits, and the transformation of toxic patterns. The initial impact of this behavior within a group is often discomfort and even perceived as rudeness. People accustomed to having their boundaries crossed are forced to confront a wall they cannot scale. The boss who expects last-minute demands to be met with a compliant smile is met with a polite but firm refusal. The colleague who thrives on emotional drama finds a sympathetic but non-participatory ear in the Sigma. However, over time, this consistent modeling of boundary integrity has a profoundly positive and transformative effect on the group's culture. The Sigma's behavior establishes a new, healthier normal. It demonstrates, through action, that it is possible to say no without the social fabric unraveling, that one can prioritize one's well-being without being ostracized. This silent demonstration is incredibly empowering to others in the group who have felt similarly encroached upon but lacked the courage to speak up. One by one, they begin to set their own healthier limits. The mid-level manager starts leaving on time to be with his family. The junior employee feels empowered to push back on an unreasonable deadline. The group's dynamic slowly shifts from one of tacit exploitation and enmeshment to one of mutual respect and professional courtesy. The Sigma male, by simply guarding his own castle, teaches everyone else how to build and defend their own. 7. The elimination of social dependence and economy of need. The interdependent web of social transactions. Conventional group dynamics are fundamentally built on a web of interdependence, a constant, often unspoken, economy of need. People need things from one another. Validation for their ideas, emotional support during distress, approval for their life choices, and assistance with their tasks. This economy is the glue that binds the group together, but it is also the mechanism for manipulation and control. An individual's opinions can be swayed by the promise of approval or the threat of withdrawal support. Their behavior can be manipulated because they fear exclusion from the very network that meets their emotional and social needs. The Sigma's position of sovereign self-sufficiency. The Sigma male's most revolutionary characteristic is his remarkable emancipation from this economy of need. He is radically self-sufficient. His sense of worth is generated and validated internally. He does not require the group's applause to feel competent. His confidence is built on a foundation of self-knowledge and proven competence, not on the fickle validation of others. He is emotionally resilient and solves his problems using his own resources, intellect, and fortitude. This independence fundamentally alters his position within the group's power structure. He is a free agent in a world of interdependent actors. Because he does not fear social exclusion, he cannot be threatened with ostracization. Because he does not crave the group's approval, he cannot be bribed with promises of inclusion or status. Because he does not need their support, he cannot be manipulated by offers of help. This position of genuine independence is incredibly potent. The gravitational weight of the unattached opinion. This detachment from the social economy gives his opinions and contributions an unusual purity and weight. When he offers feedback, it is not contaminated by calculations of how it will affect his social standing. He is not trying to win favor or undermine a rival. He is simply expressing what he believes to be true. When he makes a decision, it is based on principle, logic, and long-term strategy, not on short-term social gain. Others in the group gradually come to recognize this. They begin to see that his counsel is more honest, his analysis more clear-sighted, and his presence more authentic, precisely because it is not being filtered through a need to get something from them. He becomes a trusted source of truth in a sea of political maneuvering. People seek him out not for flattery, but for frank assessment. In a boardroom, his may be the only vote not swayed by office politics. In a social circle, his may be the only advice not tainted by a hidden agenda. The Sigma male, by needing nothing from a group, paradoxically becomes one of its most valuable assets, a pillar of objectivity in the subjective social world. 8. The creation of expansive psychological space. The suffocating atmosphere of social judgment. A common, often unacknowledged, feature of many group settings is a sense of psychological crowding. People feel watched, judged, and expected to conform to behavioral and intellectual norms. This atmosphere is created by the collective gaze, the subtle and sometimes not so subtle signals of approval and disapproval that regulate behavior. This pressure creates anxiety, stifles creativity, and encourages people to hide their uncertainties and unconventional ideas for fear of being thought foolish or disruptive. The Sigma sanctuary of acceptance. The Sigma male's presence has a counterintuitive effect of creating expansive psychological space within this crowded atmosphere. This arises from two key aspects of his character: his fundamental non-judgmentalism and his deep respect for personal autonomy. He has no interest in controlling, manipulating, or changing people. He accepts others as they are, with their unique perspectives, quirks, and flaws. He does not engage in gossip or petty criticism. Furthermore, he genuinely values different viewpoints, seeing them as pieces of a larger puzzle rather than as threats to his own worldview. This combination makes others feel psychologically safe in his vicinity. In a meeting where he is present, people worry less about saying something stupid. They feel more comfortable thinking out loud, proposing half-formed ideas, and admitting to knowledge gaps. The fear of judgment recedes, and in its place, a spirit of exploration and intellectual play can emerge. The emergence of authenticity and collective intelligence. In social gatherings, this translates to more genuine interactions. People feel less pressure to perform a curated version of themselves and can relax into their authentic identities. Conversations become more meandering, curious, and profound. The Sigma challenges a group dynamic not through any specific action, but through profound lack of negative action. He doesn't judge, he doesn't pressure, he doesn't manipulate. By creating the sanctuary of acceptance, he allows for the best aspects of group dynamics, collaboration, synergy, and the cross-pollination of ideas to flourish, while simultaneously minimizing the worst aspects, herd mentality, conformity, and judgment. He is the calm at the center of the social storm, and in his calm, others find the freedom to be themselves, to think more boldly, and to connect more deeply. Epilogue: the quiet revolution of embodied change. The Sigma male's impact on group dynamics is profound, yet it constitutes a quiet revolution. It is a revolution fought not with the weapons of rhetoric, confrontation, or ideological dogma, but through the subtler, more powerful medium of embodiment. He does not argue for a world with more authenticity. He is authentic. He does not petition for greater independence. He lives independently. He does not demand that others think for themselves. He simply, quietly does. His presence in any group, be it a corporate team, a circle of friends, or a family unit, acts as a catalytic agent, instigating subtle but powerful shifts toward greater substance, integrity, and psychological freedom. He is a living reminder that one does not have to shout to be heard, that one does not have to conform to belong, and that true power often resides not in controlling others, but in mastering oneself. In a world where social pressure and the lowest common denominator so often dictate the course of human interaction, the Sigma male's quiet independence serves as an essential anchor, grounding the group in deeper values and fostering conditions for more meaningful and intelligent human connection. He is not the leader the group asks for, but often the one it genuinely needs. Do you resonate with the ideas I shared in this video? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in more content about Sigma males, explore the other videos on this channel. Thanks for watching.